Welcome back to the channel. Today video we're watching the rap beef you all forgot, and this is featuring Tyler and ASAP Rocky. I didn't even know they were beefing, so we're about to learn something new, or at least I am.
The duo of Tyler the Creator and ASAP Rocky are two of the most influential rappers of the previous decade, and coincidentally also happen to be very good friends. When the two have gotten together to work on songs, they've made some pretty good stuff, and honestly, they seem to be a match made in heaven.
Billionaire yacht party climbing with trap. Baby, if you see sick, we can stop.
However, that wasn't always the case, and in fact, these two used to hate each other. And in case you didn't know or just forgot about it, let's go back a decade and a half ago.
The big-eared bandit is tossing all his manners in a bag and rapping them in saran wrap.
The beginning of the 2010s.
But what I will say, bro, Tyler hated a lot of people, bro. Let's not forget, in Yonkers, he did say he was going to stab Bruno Mars in his goddamn esophagus and wouldn't stop until the cops came in it. I'm an overachiever. All right,
marks a very transitional period.
He hated a lot of people, bro.
And hip hop was no different, with the late 2000s being considered one of the worst eras in hip hop history at the time. And with that shift of the 2000s to the 2010s, hip hop would become more alternative. And a large part of that shift was thanks to the noise that Odd Future was making.
I'll whoop your ass.
That's why your girlfriend look like my mom.
Your girlfriend look like my mom. Like, in reality, this shirt is stupid as fuck. It's ugly. It's tacky. People like this shit.
Right now, we're doing this pop-up shop, blah blah blah, Eminem show, opening up, whatever, who, what.
Odd Future's rise in hip hop was really one of a kind. The West Coast Collective wasn't exactly just hip hop in the beginning, as they focused on things like filmmaking and skateboarding, or even fashion. It was clear to everyone that Odd Future wasn't necessarily your traditional hip hop group, if you even really wanted to call them a hip hop group. And along their journey, they'd pick up crew members that would become very significant in the decade. Notably in Odd Future were Earl Sweatshirt and Frank Ocean, two artists that helped shape what their respective genres looked like throughout the decade. However, the legacy of Odd Future probably lives on mostly in the way of Tyler the Creator. Of course, Tyler the Creator needs no introduction, but in case that you live under a rock or hip-hop just isn't your thing, I got you.
You know, you see the vinyls in the back.
Only one of the biggest and most influential rappers of the 2010s, as he is also one of the biggest and most influential artists as a whole, with his wave stretching out way past the horizons of music. Music-wise though, Tyler the Creator has made 3 of the most notable albums of the last 10 to 15 years with Flower Boy, Igor, and Call Me If You Get Lost. Each album presenting Tyler the Creator in a different yet very enjoyable way to the one that we know now. And though it seems like Tyler the Creator is loved universally, back in 2010, 2011, this was not exactly the case. The Tyler the Creator that we knew beforehand was the Tyler that had beef with probably the whole music industry. Bro. From Bruno Mars to Hopsin to Chris Brown to even B.O.B., Tyler the Creator was a very polarizing figure. But to be fair, it wasn't out of nowhere. He was kind of asking for it.
Crash that fucking airplane at that faggot nigga Bob.
A lot of the vibes that Odd Future carried was, we hate everyone that isn't Odd Future, and Tyler the Creator was no different. However, this attitude didn't lead to much respect from many across the hip-hop landscape, with Tyler's career being reduced to a...
Well, also he was very young too. Very young. Very, very young. So I would throw that in there.
Essentially the guy that ate roaches, and though he would work very hard for that label not to stick on him, that's all people saw him as for a very long time. On the other side of America though, more or less the same thing was happening with a crew by the name of ASAP Mob.
ASAP it stands for Always Strive and Prosper.
Led by the late ASAP Jams, the collective of ASAP Mob was another hip-hop collective that was on its way to make a name for themselves. But unlike Odd Future, where it didn't really look like the group had a leader necessarily, ASAP Mob very clearly had just one star that they were banking on, and he went by the name of ASAP Rocky.
I be that pretty motherfucker.
He was a guy from Harlem, New York, the most
songs,
New York rapper you'll ever meet. I mean, his name is Rakim, but the sound of his music, however, carried a very different vibe. Because unlike 99% of notable New York rappers, ASAP Rocky's style came from the South. This made Rocky stand out because even if hip-hop wasn't necessarily as divided as it might have been in the 90s, there was still...
Well, that was happening for a lot of rappers. Like Lil Uzi, I'm from Philly. Lil Uzi really didn't get his, like, he was cool in Philly, then he went down south and his name went fucking crazy. So, like, a lot of rappers did, like, would relocate down south to start pushing out music because they knew that it was going to pick up faster. So this was like this started to become a common thing.
A sound barrier to each territory. It's not like now, for example, where a New York rapper can sound like a Chicago rapper or a California rapper can sound like an Atlanta rapper. In 2010, you probably sounded like where you were from. You know what I mean? Additionally,
Understood.
ASAP Mob also carried ASAP Ferg, the only other rapper that has any type of legacy outside of Rocky, at least in terms of music. And though his career is not as colorful as the one Rocky has had, his works on
He
songs
had
like
some hits.
Work and Plain Jane make Ferg a notable name even till this day. Still though, it felt like the ASAP Mob revolved around ASAP Rocky. And if you hated the ASAP Mob, you probably hated ASAP Rocky as well. Which is basically where the feud begins to take place. Because as you can guess, when there's two collectives that essentially aim to do the same thing, not only are they gonna get compared, but there's gonna be some sort of competition between the two, which often leads to a more hostile relationship. One that can be traced back to 2011, when Haji, member of Odd Future, tweeted ASAP copy, a clear shot at the ASAP crew, and one that Rocky obviously had to reply to, especially because, at least from the public side and an outsider's point of view, it seemed very uncalled for. To which ASAP Rocky would reply by saying, when I see him, I'm going to ask him what's that about. I don't want to smack nobody. I don't want to get sued. I don't want none of that shit. But shit happens. You know what I mean? Which, you know, sounds kind of like a half threat. Like, if you really want it, you can get it type shit. And this would only mark the beginning. At least in terms of Odd Future members taking shots at ASAP Mob. And more specifically, ASAP Rocky. As Tyler, the Creator, took a shot at Rocky for quote-unquote directing the music video for Blunt After Blood by Danny Brown. Because just a few hours after the music video was released, Tyler, the Creator, would tweet, "The word director is thrown around very loosely nowadays." Something that ASAP Ant, assuming it was a stray at Rocky, would respond to on Twitter by saying, "I'll smack the shit out of you." Now, hindsight is 2020, and looking back at it, that Tyler tweet could really be about anything. But considering that it was
Yeah.
only a few
can
hours
link it
after
to
the
that.
music video release, you can probably guess that it might have been a shot towards Rocky. Especially because a few months later, Tyler, the Creator, would once again diss ASAP Rocky. When ASAP Rocky released Fucking Problems alongside Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and 2 Chainz, Tyler, the Creator, would once again throw shots at Rocky via Twitter, tweeting, "So funny when someone releases a new song with the same 4 people that we expected to be on it with the same shitty trap beat. Ha 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 ha." Which personally, I don't get it. I think Fucking Problems is about
thought it was cool, too.
historical moment in
But you know,
hip hop,
when you
considering
beefing, you
where
can't give
Kendrick
nobody no
Lamar and
props for it,
Drake
bro.
are nowadays.
Or
But
at least
that's
you're not trying
besides
to.
the point. When ASAP Rocky was asked what he thought of the Tyler, the Creator shot, he just replied with indifference, saying that Tyler, the Creator, had an opinion, and at the end of the day, everybody is allowed to have one. Further adding that he wasn't tripping over what Tyler, the Creator, said because he's jiggy. Which reminds me, shout out to Will Smith. May the Academy forgive you, man. Anyways, though, this is about as much as we see in terms of public beef. Somewhere along the lines, ASAP Mob and Odd Future called for peace. There was definitely
And there was a thing that ASAP had said that Tyler was beefing with 2 Chainz, and or at least it was like a one-sided beef. 2 Chainz thought he didn't like him because of something he said that he thought was about 2 Chainz, and then like ASAP was talking to 2 Chainz one time, and then I guess Tyler called him and was like, "Oh, you on the phone with 2 Chainz?" You in the studio with 2 Chainz, something like that. And he talking about how much he liked this song and stuff like that. And the whole time he
Definitely
thought
a
he
lot of
hated him.
smoke, and behind the scenes there was probably a lot of fire between the two. But I can't really fault them for calling peace on each other, especially when you consider where hip-hop beef tends to end. I think this is a happy ending. However, if you were wondering why the two groups were beefing, ASAP Rocky
What the
and
fuck,
Tyler, the
right?
Creator,
Oh my
has
God, bro.
basically said it was just a thing about comparisons.
You know, me and Tyler, man, we was the same way. It was like our crews ain't fuck with each other type shit. You know, like,
Tyler, the Creator?
man, you ain't know about that.
Nah, man.
Oh,
See,
man.
okay. So I knew shots were thrown. I didn't know they actually didn't fuck with each other. Like I knew that they were talking about each other in a way, but I never thought that deep of it. And also I was kind of young. So I was like, okay. Okay, motherfuckers drop music. So I was kind of like naive to it, but like I didn't really understand how deep this shit was. Or how deep this shit was
Basically,
led on to be, because it seemed a lot of people outside of it egging it on versus them two.
our crews ain't really fuck with each other and shit. And it was because we was young, because people would compare like, oh,
they East Coast group, y'all West Coast group, la da 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 da, shit like that.
Media
you know?
was fucking y'all
Yeah,
shit up.
basically.
It wasn't
and
even
then-
nothing personal. Y'all didn't even know each other like that.
Nah, man. And
More recently at a performance, Tyler the Creator opened up on how he used to not like ASAP Rocky. And that's basically about it. Of course though, it wasn't because he really hated ASAP Rocky. It was just because Odd Future didn't like ASAP Mob. And thank God they realized they worked good together, because those songs that they put out together have been fire. I guess this really does go to show you a lesson though. Just
Bro,
because
this
your
shit
friends
hot,
don't
bro.
like or
I listen. I'm sorry. I hear the beat, bro. I can't wait for Spider-Man. The new Spider-Man drop, bro. It should be this year. It better be this year, or shit gonna get violent, bro. You can just hear the beat, bro. The beat
hate
just make
somebody doesn't mean you have to hate them. And who knows? You might even get along with that person if you gave them a chance. But you have to give them a chance. For that, I applaud Tyler the Creator and ASAP Rocky, because I know I probably wouldn't have done that. With that being said, man, I kinda miss like the insanity that was last weekend.
But I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm glad they worked their shit out, because you know I love Tyler, love ASAP. I love Tyler, ASAP. I love the Wayne Sapp on a bumper sticker. Fuck you, Nick. Okay. No, it's crazy to see these two people who've made a lot of songs, well, a lot of music together, hate each other and then come together. It just shows maturity. Like honestly, just maturity. Yeah, I'm just glad that they're together. There's no beef, so we can have this music and there's these vibes and Who That Boy and like just all that shit, bro. It's just positive vibes, bro. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.